Recently, a question was posted asking, how do I improve my son's handwriting? And I thought, I don't know. How do you improve your son's handwriting when it's his handwriting? So why? I wonder why this parent was invested in her son's handwriting. His handwriting was okay with him. He was able to decode it and understand what he was writing down. And he was writing for himself. So it, it did it really matter that mom couldn't decode what he was writing when he was writing notes for and to himself? I'm not sure that it does. Our kids own their own learning, and specifically in terms of handwriting, so long as the notes were for him and he could decode them, I don't. It's just it's my mind shift. I've shifted away from feeling like I need to own my daughter's outcome of her learning. It's her learning. If it's her handwriting and she realizes that her audience can't decode her writing, then it's actually on her. Once the audience has provided the feedback to her that, hey, it's all gibberish, it doesn't make any sense to me, then it's on her to go, if I'm going to communicate with my audience, I need to improve my handwriting. But it's not on me to go to her. She has to want that for herself, for her own, to create her own goals and her own goal setting. So that's part of my deschooling process. That's part of what I've had to learn as we've gone into homeschooling, because I was indoctrinated. I was schooled for 13 years of public schooling plus some university time too, of being lectured at, taking notes, and being quizzed over those notes. I didn't own my learning. The teachers did. They decided what I was going to learn, when I was going to learn it, the format I was going to learn it in, and then they quizzed me on it. So this is a huge mind shift for me. It's a big deschooling process that I've had to find my own resources. I've been homeschooling myself in that regard and owning my own learning. So I've had to find the resources. I've had to find books by so many authors who have gone before us in the homeschooling world. There's John Holt, John Taylor Gatto, Susan Weiss Bauer, Allison McKee, Joanne Calderwood, Peter Gray, Robert Laub. I mean, these are Beverly Payne here in Australia. I mean, these are well-established authors who either have been homeschoolers or have been in the school system and now are shining the light back on, and they've left the school system and now they're shining the light back on it and how it doesn't work to the best interest of the kids. And they've got a wealth of information to share with us, so we don't have to constantly be reinventing the wheel. We can learn from their experiences and their wisdom and knowledge. So I've done vast amounts of reading to try to reshape my own thinking about how learning looks once we move beyond the classroom. And I'm still learning all the time. There are so many blogs to read from. There are YouTube channels to gather information from. And then there's specifically Sir Ken Robinson has a series of TED Talks that he's done that are very insightful. We've got Sal Khan of Khan Academy, who has 2 TED Talks that I go to often. One is on teaching to mastery and the other is on flipping the classroom. So it's really important that our own education hasn't ended, that we need to learn and educate ourselves about how to, honestly, how to get out of our children's way, because we can be holding them back due to our own need for control and checklists and curriculum and things like that. And they'll come to us when they need help. So we just need to stay out of their way and encourage and support, but not hold them back. Another thing that we need to be aware of is their developmental stages, because so many of us were through the school system where we were only with children our own age. We don't always know as much as we think we know about the developmental stages that our children go through. And for their early years especially, they may just not be old enough to know what we expect them to know. And specifically, I've seen it come up where a parent has shown their 2-year-old how to pick up their toys. And so now they expect this child, 2 years old, to pick up their toys every time they're done playing with them without being reminded. And come on, let's hop to it. The child is 2. Their brain isn't developed enough for them to own that responsibility. And so we have to be able and willing to acknowledge those developmental stages where they're just not old enough to know yet. And our children are individuals, and we have to respect that individuality in them. And with my own daughter, she doesn't have a high interest in writing right now. And I was starting to feel pressure from myself to push her into doing more writing. And then I stepped back and I thought, well, how much does she see me writing? Not a lot. Not physically handwriting. I mean, I don't sit down and write stories. I don't write college papers. I don't write daily in a journal. That would be a way of modeling for her that I don't do yet, but maybe now that I've thought about it. She sees me write the grocery list, but honestly, I really think that's the only thing that she sees me handwriting on a regular basis. I type emails to friends and family on the computer. She sees me typing on Facebook. So a lot of typing, not a lot of handwriting. So how does that model the importance of handwriting to her? Well, compared to typing's way up here, handwriting way down here. It's no wonder that handwriting isn't important to her. And even storytelling. She doesn't see it modeled very often. How would she develop the idea that this is an important skill to develop if she's not seeing it modeled? I've got my work cut out for me, don't I? It's amazing. Like, you start out telling a story and then you're like, it's your own learning moment. Yeah, so it's about the modeling, and she's her own person. At 10 years old, I mean, even younger, it's not up to me to decide for her, you need to do this. I've decided it's important to you, so you have to do it. When I put it that way and I think about it, it's like even when they're 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 years old, who am I to say? I mean, certainly there are safety issues. That's not what I'm talking about. But it's her life. She has owned her life since she was born. And so who am I to say, you have to learn this now because I've decided? If somebody came to me and said that, we'd be having a conversation. Well, we're experiencing it here, quite honestly, here in Victoria, Australia, because we're under stage 4 lockdown. And it's hard because I am a responsible, reasonable, intelligent adult. I manage my home, I manage my life, and now you're telling me that I have to wear a mask when I go to my garden, which is 3 acres, and I'm there all by myself? See what I mean? We don't want somebody else imposing on us. And so it's really an opportunity for us to think about, do we really Is it right for us to impose our will on our children? Again, I'm not talking about safety issues. I'm talking about personal preferences and interests. It's really something to think about. And this is a huge mind shift. Like I said, I went to school. I had parents who ran the show. This is a huge shift away from mainstream thinking for me. This is part of my deschooling, and this is how far I am now. But I know that there's still room out there for me to go even further. So support and encourage your children where they are, for who they are. I'm here to support and encourage you where you are, and we will all get to the end of this together. So thank you for joining me today, and I will see you next time. Bye.